One of the wonderful things about the law is its capacity to adapt to constantly changing circumstances. The world changes at an incredibly rapid rate, and the law has the capacity to change with it. This particular case concerns radio, which by the 1920s was still a new technology. At the time in Victoria, only 13,000 people had radios and the associated licence to use them. A radio station in Melbourne called 3AR, operated by Associated Radio and Company, was broadcasting programs throughout the city, including musical works which were typically performed by artists in the station's studios and broadcast live. Chappel Co were in the business of purchasing the copyright to musical acts and then licensing those works to people who wanted to perform them. The Copyright Act at the time prohibited people without permission from performing copyrighted musical acts in public. 3AR did not have permission to play music owned by Chappel Co, and so Chappel Co sought an injunction to prevent them from continuing to play those copyrighted works. Associated Radio argued that their performance of the works did not fall within the definition of public performance. After all, the artists performing the works were doing so in an Associated Radio's studio and not in any public place. In answer to the obvious rebuttal that the performances were intended to be heard in public places, they made the argument that radio had been an unknown technology at the time that the Copyright Act was passed, and so the Parliament could not have intended to make specific laws about the performance of works on radio. It was an ingenious argument, but it was unsuccessful. The court said, if things not known at the time of the coming into operation of an act fall on a fair construction within its words, they should be held to be included. The things such as motor cars, now held to be included within the word vehicle, afford a good illustration. From this case, we see the principle of statutory interpretation that legislation is always understood to be speaking in a voice in the present tense. The meaning of a word might evolve over time due to things like technological change, and when interpreting statute, we give the words of the Act their current meaning, not limited to the meaning they had at the time of the passage of the Act.